Thank you for the opportunity to present this to you. And I'd like to welcome my customers, Ben DuBois from Norfolk Iron and Metal, and Jake Frenz to join me up on stage, CEO of SmithRx. Thank you for joining me. So let's kick this off with a bold question. If I told you guys about a year ago that Agentic AI would fundamentally transform how your teams are working, what would you have said? And maybe we'll start with you, Jake, and then go to Ben.
Thanks, Nikhil. I'm Jake Frenz. I'm the CEO, founder of SmithRx. We're a pharmacy benefit manager. We're changing U.S. healthcare by lowering drug costs for Americans. We work with over 4,000 self-insured employers, so many of you have healthcare insurance through your employer. You would choose SmithRx as that drug benefit. But when you look at the question of the surprise of the pace, it's exceeded expectations by far. I think nothing changes fast in U.S. healthcare. We all know that. It's broken, and we're on a runaway train. But I think the advancements that we've made with C3, the pilot, it's been done in very short order. We've been working with C3 for really under 10 months on the pilot, and the results are exceptional.
Super.
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, same here. The steel industry is probably not the first industry that you think of when it comes to technology and AI. I know we heard from Nucor yesterday. And historically, our sales teams have relied heavily on their gut instinct. And they have not been afraid to tell us that our industry is built on relationships. So I think that gives me the confidence that yes, there's a lot of room for improvement, and I think AI can be a tool for that.
Super. So switching gears a little bit, let's break it down, right, on the specific problems. And maybe starting with you first, Ben, here. When you approach C3 AI, kind of what specific problem were you trying to solve?
Yeah, so there were really two problems that we were trying to solve. But I think the first one is one that probably a lot of people in this room are familiar with, which is related to business reporting. And we can go, if we try to build reports and dashboards that answer every question that every person has in the business, we're going to have so many reports and dashboards that nobody knows where to find what they're looking for. And on the other hand, if we try to simplify our reporting environment, everybody knows what's there, but it's not what people are looking for. And so we saw generative AI as a way to solve that particular problem.
And you, Jake?
Healthcare is complex. It's a Byzantine structure that we have to deal with today that's had a lot of tech debt built on COBOL, Fortrans, and the data is nothing like clean. It's very dirty. And so one of the biggest challenges we faced and we wanted to solve with C3 was being able to connect to all these disparate data stores that we have, where we have nearly 1 million members and millions of transactions happening every month. We have a call center that ties into that, where we solve questions by patients calling in, and being able to do that connection point of connecting the patient question with the right answer, where we use 5 different tools today and 5 different boxes that agent has in front of them, putting that down to one, where we have very specific right answers with no hallucinations is critical. It's actually that's a necessity. We've got to have no hallucinations. We have to give the right answer to the patients so they can get the drug that they need.
So you had a pretty clear sense of the specific problem you wanted to solve.
Yeah.
So tell me, and I'm actually curious, Jake, how did you end up picking us in Agentic AI?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
So we're a Silicon Valley-based company. We evaluated many different AI prominent companies. And one of the most prominent, we sat down for a day-long session. I've shared this story with you, Nikhil. But it was a Ruffles and Flourishes presentation where essentially all of our problems could be solved by their services with not a lot of substance. They were kind of a very fast growth company. when I looked at C3 and sat down with Nikhil and his team in the first product session, understanding the enterprise applications here and the models that you've built for 10, 14 years, it was clear that we needed an AI engine to be able to do these connection points. It wasn't just slapping an LLM on it. That really becomes like a tertiary endpoint. But it was just apparent that you had the right solution there.
Cool. What about you, Ben? How did you end up picking us versus all the noise in the market?
Yeah, our company is probably the furthest thing from a Silicon Valley-based company. We're a family-owned steel company in a small town in Nebraska that started in 1908. So we don't have all the familiarity necessarily with the Silicon Valley, atmosphere. But we were looking for a way to introduce generative AI into our business somehow. And basically all the ideas and solutions that we had seen out there seemed more in the cool trick category than the value added to the business category. And so I actually came here last year and we saw the generative AI solution specifically for structured data. And that was the first time I said, oh, I think this could be something that could add value to our business. And so, it was a unique solution. Super.
So how have we fared then, Ben, to overcome your operational bottlenecks in sales? Like what have we done? How have we improved?
So I think, we really have two classifications of salespeople. Mm-hmm. We have salespeople that already are effective at using data, and for those salespeople, we've been able to enable them to have more access to data when they're on the road in front of customers. And we also have maybe a larger group of salespeople that currently don't use data. And so with this solution, we're able to meet them where they're at and give them something that's familiar to them. And so they're able to ask questions and get answers when they're on the road.
So just to make it more concrete for this group here, can you give us some flavors of the kinds of questions that they're able to get answers to, and that would add value to them?
Yeah. So there's a whole group of questions related to our historical sales data and the past customer activity. So when they are on the road and getting ready to walk into a customer's office, they're able to see what their sales history has looked like, what their previous customer visit looked like, and what inventory we might have available for them right now. And then we've also tried to build in some more contextual type questions, like when a salesperson is planning their agenda for the following week, they can ask something along the lines of, which customer should I make sure I visit next week? And it can find kind of the context around that and give them recommendations.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Jake, same question to you. So, what are you seeing in terms of operational benefits, and maybe you can also make it real for this group in terms of the types of questions. And
whenever anyone deals with healthcare, it's some of the most escalated moments in our life. Trying to get that medication for your kid, or that you need to survive or get through whatever the evolution is, becomes really challenging. So our agents are put under a lot of stress to be able to answer questions correctly, accurately. The tools that C3 has been able to provide, the agentic applications here, to tie in with all these disparate data stores, gives a one-page view, essentially, of all of the what we believe the patient's asking, the question. All the data is supported. And I think this alleviates my agents' overall stress levels. They can focus on the empathetic interaction that it should be. They're connecting with the patient, trying to make sure that they're getting the right drug at the right place, instead of figuring out where do I go for this piece of information. And so it streamlines that, speeds it up much, much faster. It's much more efficient. Mm-hmm. And it's a great foundational piece for us to think about how we do more in the future.
Very cool. I can imagine that being super high value in the moment, right, for that call center operative.
We have their back. We're not throwing them out there where 90% of their calls that they answer are probably routine, transactional calls, but they don't know when they answer the phone what the sentiment is or how escalated that patient may be. With this, they have the tools that they need, the data, in an easily readable format that they can not only answer the first question, but go deeper. And that's what presents this great change-making experience for patients, where everyone's highly frustrated with their healthcare insurance. No one feels like we're delivering there. Now we are delivering. Now we're changing the paradigm of how we think about the pathway forward.
Super.
Yeah.
So that leads nicely into a discussion on business impact. So maybe first you, Jake, what business impact are you seeing or are you excited to be seeing in the future? Give us a sense of this.
I mean, I think more so just beyond the metrics and ROI from a cost of revenue standpoint, just the confidence that we have the right tools in place and that we have the great building blocks, the foundation to move from. That's been the biggest aspect of it. But I think as we think about efficiency, scale, we're doubling in size roughly year over year. To be able to accomplish that, we can't do that with just hiring people. We've got to do it with technology tools and being able to see over the horizon of where we need to get to in the future. And I think the C3 Agentic piece is going to be, or it is, a big part of that.
Super. Ben?
Yeah, we've seen that the members of our sales team that are effective at using data are also the most effective salespeople. They're ensuring that every visit that they make to a customer are the most effective visits. And so, like I said, we're making the salespeople that already were effective more effective, making sure that all the time they're spending is on the customers that the time needs to be spent on. And then for those salespeople that weren't previously using data, we're enabling them to level up and make sure that their time is being used as wisely as possible.
And are you seeing the value? If you looked at the sales data, are you actually starting to see improvements?
Yeah, we have a little saying in our company that sometimes our salespeople like to make their milk runs. They go to these customers once a month, and they go to these other customers once every 2 months, and so we're seeing those patterns change.
Interesting.
To where they're able to focus on the customers where sales might be falling, or where we've had a lot of late deliveries recently or returns, and they're able to spend their time focused on those customers.
Mm-hmm. So switching gears to the future. So I know we've been talking with you, Jake, about a large number of AI use cases that are coming next. What really excites you about? And I think we're just in the early innings here with AI. So what really excites you about the journey at SmithRx? What use cases? What problems?
I mean, we're in the early innings, but we all know it's moving much, much faster. We have to run as hard as we can at this. I think that I started Smith because we wanted to change U.S. healthcare. We deserve better. And I think that view or vision of where we're moving in the future with AI enabled here creates a different paradigm, a different pathway forward, fighting position to be able to go start attacking this really rotten incumbent core. Seriously, I mean, we have to do better with U.S. healthcare. And so I think we're at the cusp of that right now. We're David versus Goliath. And what this is going to do, it's not only going to bring success to Smith and charts our pathway forward, but I think also it charts the path for all the Davids to come into the game. Because it's not just going to take Smith to change U.S. healthcare. We need many, many more. We need hundreds of Davids to go at this. And it's a big enough problem with AI and that evolution where now I believe that change-making product, that new category, is going to be possible.
Awesome.
It's super exciting.
Very exciting. And Ben, what about for Norfolk? Where does this go next?
Yeah, so we're kind of treating this system like it's a new employee. First, we had to teach it about our data and our business, which I think, step one, we've done that successfully. The second stage is helping it add context to its answers by relying on our other infrastructure, like our predictive models and the other data that we've been able to put together. And so then in the future, we're looking forward to being able to utilize agents to execute some of the actions that our salespeople are currently responsible for. And so, if AI can help us solve those problems before they happen and allow our people to focus on the things that only people can do, we think that'll put us ahead of the competition in our industry.
Any examples there that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a large team in our company that basically just focuses on responding to customer requests, and we want to make ourselves more proactive rather than reactive, and see if we can respond to those requests before they even come in, related to whether it's pricing or material issues or things like that. So.
Super. We have time for one final question, and I wanted to maybe get you guys to, if you were to talk to some of the folks in the audience today who are considering using C3 Agentic AI and our Agentic AI capabilities, what would you say to them? So maybe start with you, Jake.
It's not that hard. I think that this is the building block approach where we need to find the foundations. And I think we need, within each company, the leadership from the top down to champion this and make it just a given that this is the pathway forward that everyone has to buy into. I think we all need to be using AI in everything that we do every day to get a wherewithal, because the loops here, the dev cycles are going to move faster and faster and faster. And so we have to adopt it now. It's really critical.
Yeah, maybe what I would say is this will make people uncomfortable in your business. It's not what they're used to, but the people who do choose in your organization to use the technology will be the ones that are the most successful. And so you got to find some people in your business that are willing to try it and kind of be the champions, and that'll kind of rub off on the rest of the people in the organization.
Super. Well, with that, I want to thank our guests for joining us on stage, our customers. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, Nikhil.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.